Hi, I'm Pam from the Birch Cottage blog. In this video tutorial, I would like to show you how to make these chalkboard frames. I got this frame at a thrift store. It was actually 3 frames that were attached together. I separated the frames, sanded them down a little bit to distress them, took the glass out and painted it with chalkboard paint, and now I have these adorable little rustic chalkboard signs that I can display throughout my home. These are really easy to make and a great way to use up old picture frames or to get picture frames from the thrift store and repurpose them. And you can make them as small or as large as you want to meet your needs. These are great for parties, baby showers, wedding receptions. You'll find so many uses for this technique. So come along and see how easy it is to make these chalkboard signs. First, let's take a look at the supplies that you will need. You'll want to have a picture frame, of course, some chalkboard paint, a paint can opener, and a stick to stir your chalk paint with, a foam paintbrush, gloves, and a clean rag. The first thing that you'll want to do is gather your picture frames. You can use new frames, old frames, or thrift store frames. Your chalkboard paint, of course, your foam paintbrush, your paint can opener and stirrer, gloves, sandpaper, and a clean rag. Now be sure to read the manufacturer's directions for the chalkboard paint that you use. You'll want to take your frame apart. Of course, you're going to clean and dust the frame. You're going to clean the glass. I like to use soap and water to clean it with first, and then use a rag to get it really thoroughly dry. And there's my glass, all nice and clean, ready to be painted. And these are some frames that I got at a thrift store. You can see they were all hinged together, and you'll again want to take those frames apart, clean the glass really well, and clean up the frames if they need it. I sanded mine down to distress them a little bit. This would also be a good time to paint your frames if that's what you wanted to do. And of course, use your clean rag to remove any dust. And then you'll take your maybe 80 grit sandpaper and lightly sand the glass surface. Again, read your paint manufacturer's instructions to see if they require that you sand the glass first. And then you can use a clean, dry paintbrush or a rag to remove any dust. Of course, you're going to want to stir the paint up really well. And you'll notice that the black chalkboard paint tends to look blue, but it will dry black, trust me. You also want to be sure and wear gloves so you don't get the chalkboard paint all over you. And you want to apply your chalkboard paint in a thin coat in one direction. So your first coat, you will paint all in one direction. You'll apply a nice thin coat. And then I like to go back over it in nice long strokes to make sure it doesn't leave as many brush marks. You'll allow that to dry for at least 30 minutes. Stir up your paint and apply a second coat of paint. Now the second coat of paint, you're going to paint it in the opposite direction of what you painted the first coat. And again, keep those layers nice and thin. And then you can go back over and make the nice long strokes to minimize the brush strokes. You can also use a foam roller if you want. I typically just use this foam paintbrush. And again, you're going to allow that second coat to dry at least 30 minutes or until it's completely dry. And then, if necessary, apply your third coat of paint. I usually do apply 3 coats of paint. And you're going to let that third coat dry at least overnight for 24 hours. Again, be sure to read the manufacturer's instructions. And then you're going to season your chalkboard. And what this means is you just take a piece of chalk and you rub all over the board with the side of the chalk until you have it completely covered. And then you just take a nice clean rag or a damp rag and to wipe off the paint or wipe off the chalk. I have found that sometimes the chalk leaves scratches in the paint or in the chalkboard paint. And I haven't figured out if it's the way I'm holding the chalk, if it's that I need to smooth off the surface, but some pieces turn out perfectly and others, like this one, has scratches in it. So I kind of go over it again with some chalk, or I might even sand it a little bit and then re-season that surface. And there you go, you have your chalkboards all painted and you're ready to put your frames back together and have some really nice framed chalkboards. I hope you have enjoyed this DIY frame chalkboard tutorial. If you did, be sure to like this video below and subscribe to my YouTube channel so you'll be notified when I have new videos available. Again, thank you for watching this video and thank you for your support.